This is Founders Games Metaverse Rounds.
Welcome to the Founders Games.
The biggest growth stage challenge on the planet with $6 million award. The collective intelligence of 250 VC investors evaluated over 3,000 applications of growth stage companies. Only 60 made it to this third round.
Thrilled to be here. So great to be a part of Webital.
All of them are superheroes. They are saving the future of the humankind by generating social and environmental impact through their exponentially growing innovative businesses. Welcome to the better future. Founders Game starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Founders Games. Third round and the vertical of mobility today. We'll be hearing and questioning the top 4 founders from the vertical of mobility, and I will not be alone. I have some phenomenal investors here with me, coming from all around the world. Let them have here in our virtual world. It's such a pleasure to introduce some of the top leading investors who are joining us today, and I'm honored to welcome my dear friend, Dr. Sasha Galitsky, an internationally well-known inventor, entrepreneur, and venture capitalist. He's co-founder and managing partner of Almaz Capital. Hello, Sasha. What is the most important thing we should know about Almaz Capital?
What's important is that we was born entrepreneurs and we continue to be. And our goal as a service company, as I talk always about venture capital, is to help two entrepreneurs to realize that dream.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Real honor to have you with us. It's such a pleasure to welcome Rinat Yogev. She leads the investments of General Motors Ventures in Israel, Europe, and the Gulf countries, and she has driven 500 million plus in venture capital, broad equity, and private equity investment in Israel and the US. Hi, Rinat. Pleasure to have you with us. Tell us more about GM.
GM Ventures is the strategic corporate capital investment arm for General Motors, and we are strategic in our approach. We look to accelerate GM's vision, and when we make investments, we're really looking to partner with startups to help them accelerate their commercialization and bring in disruptive technology into GM.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to welcome Max Filippov, a managing partner at GR Capital with over 10 years in the industry. Thank you, Max, for being here. I would like to hear what makes GR Capital special.
We are a late-stage investor with Ukrainian roots, with mostly Ukrainian team and Ukrainian LPs. And our mission is to invest into the best late-stage Western European companies and bring them and show them the benefits of entering or working in Eastern European markets, especially Ukraine. That's our mission.
Just a few words about us. Webital Investment Network is a publicly listed entity investing only in the finalists of the Founders Games.
Thank you, Dr. Russev. As your AI co-host, it's my pleasure to introduce the rules before we move on to the first founder. The jury shall evaluate the top companies in this vertical and shall select a winner against 6 equally important criteria. 1. Business model scalability, market adoption, and timing. 2. Uniqueness of the idea. 3. Team capacity. 4. Funding and financing. 5. Leadership and personal qualities. And 6. Impact factor. Is the company generating social and environmental change? Each criteria brings up to 10 points, so the maximum a company can get from each jury member is 60 points. Only 5 of the semi-finalists shall reach to the final round and win a share of a $6 million award. Let the Founders Games begin.
Participant number 1.
Let's see the first of the 4 entrepreneurs who are now with us.
It's great to be here. I'm the founder and CEO of Inobat, which is a little miracle story from Slovakia.
First, a special superpower suit. The avatar that will take you to the virtual environment where we all wait for you.
"60 seconds pitch starting now."
What Inobat offers is actually customized cells built for different sectors of mobility. Not your classical ID3, ID4 Volkswagens, but really the eVTOLs market, commercial vehicle markets. We partner with some of the best IP companies in Silicon Valley, and we combine with the manufacturing excellence of Central and Eastern Europe so we can fast-track prototype cells for the needs of the customers. This allows us to actually unlock some of the fastest growing underserved markets. eVTOLs, but also off-highway applications, the forklifts, equipments, for mining applications that all need to go electric and that are looking for a special cell that is currently not in the market. This is the Inobat solution. In the last 3 years since we set up the company, we have developed 4 products for different applications for buses, for premium vehicles, and eVTOL customers. We have put together a team of more than 100 people, over 20 nationalities, over 14 PhDs. We have finished the pilot line in Slovakia. We have raised close to $100 million, and we're backed by the likes of Rio Tinto, World Bank, and also with a strong backup by the governments.
Ready for Q&A.
Can you talk a little bit about the team that you've built together?
It's a team of complementary skill set, starting with people like our chairman, Andy Palmer, who was a former CEO of Nissan, who deployed the first Gigafactory in Europe. He was formerly also CEO of Aston Martin, and people from the R&D world, a team that comes from the R&D department at BMW, to people who are former C-levels at tier ones, such as Nissan, Aston Martin, and also people who have infrastructure expertise, who have actually built massive infrastructure projects, because at the end of the day, battery companies are massive infrastructure undertaking. Gigafactories take a while to develop. Over 55 of our 100 people count are R&D and product development people.
My question actually about you raising capital, how you will use this capital right now, and what amount you are raising if you are raising right now.
We're actually in the Series C round, raising 100 million euros to deploy a first Gigafactory of ours in Slovakia, which is an extension of our pilot line to be able to scale our production and deploy the cells based on the contracts we have secured.
How it will be spent just for production, or it will be spent for something else?
Part of it will be to continue our product development, but big part will be towards CapEx for the Gigafactory and for OpEx and general corporate expenses.
How many actually products you already move, and how you manage the price?
From the previous round, we built the R&D pilot line, which allows us to deliver prototype cells to the customers. And now the amount we're raising is actually for the Gigafactory, so we can, deliver mass volumes of our cells to the customers. This is based on 4 products we have developed, starting at NMC622 to NMC811 high silicon anode chemistry. We're dedicating a portion of the money that we're raising towards R&D as well.
What about sales? In the sense that competition with big companies mostly rely in this field, and usually clients don't like to rely on startups with not so confident future sometimes.
We have put together a strong sales team. It's led by Ian White, who comes from Williams Advanced Engineering, ex-Porsche, ex-Ricardo. What differentiates us is actually that we're able to deliver sample cells to the customers. So having the pilot line ready, which is not the case for many of the startups in Europe right now. You have heard of the Volts, the many national Volts out there, which are going through some difficulties. The difference with us is that actually we can supply sample A, sample B cells to the customers based on the specifications that we get, and based on that, we're able to secure a pipeline of our products. So we have already over 500 million euros of contracts secured until 2027. And we have also a pipeline of 25 billion euros of sales, which gives you an idea of the big supply-demand imbalance in Europe. You don't have many newcomers actually with functional production capabilities at this stage. A lot of the players in Europe right now, they're actually at the product development stage. We already passed that. Now we're focusing on race to scale.
What is the addressable market size here on one side? Second, how many competitors do you have exactly at that particular addressable side? Because I understand that you are doing something specific for a specific target. Is that correct?
Correct. The overall size of the market in Europe is over 1 terawatt hours. That's the equivalent of about 100 gigafactories. That reflects, the trend in electrification. Everyone is going electric. You have higher EV penetration rates all over Europe. Our niche market is about 20% of that. It's 200 gigawatt hours by 2030. That comprises the aviation, the light commercial vehicle, bus market, as well as the premium, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, as well as Porsche Taycans of the world. In this segment, the current model of catalog, kind of take it or leave it. Here's a cell, try to put it in your module and pack doesn't work. The Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, the buses companies, they all need a different type of cell. This is how, we are well placed actually with our customized approach to secure the volumes we have to this point, because our model is different. No fixed specifications, really bespoke chemistry tailored for this specific market segments.
Can you talk a little bit about the core IP, sort of what is differentiated about the technology?
Our model is based on really being an aggregator of some of the best IP there is out there. So we worked with a company called Wildcat Discovery Technologies in San Diego. It's a Richard Branson-backed company on cathode and anode optimization, basically coming up with the right chemical cocktail that can actually give you the specs that the customers need. We also work with some of the leading silicon anode players like Group 14 in Seattle, Washington. And what Inobat does is basically an IP industrialization platform that can take some of the best pieces around cathode anode materials to develop the best chemistry. But also we have a unique IP in cell design, cell configuration, so we can actually fit it to the needs of battery pack requirements of different customers, but also unique IP around manufacturing. We have developed a manufacturing blueprint that allows us to build basically blocks between 1 to 4 gigawatt hours of gigafactories we can bring anywhere in the world, in the backer of the OEMs, any government that wants to transform their economy. State of Indiana is a great example where we have got a nice incentive package, and we're doing the same in Eastern and Western Europe with a number of governments right now.
I would like to hear your thoughts about regulations in this space, all the talks about lithium and its ecological trail and everything like that. So of course it's better technology, but how do you see it long term? Is it really safe, and how governments will see it when it starts developing like 100 gigafactories?
Absolutely, lithium is a big problem. There's not enough lithium given all these ambitious gigafactory projects. So one solution is actually to partner with people that actually have local lithium. Rio Tinto is our big investor, and they have a big base in Europe. The gigafactory we're developing, one of the countries is Serbia. Serbia actually happens to have one of the largest lithium deposits in the world. So we are deploying our Inobat value chain industrial park around this lithium deposit. Also, we have recycling solution where we are taking some of the battery scrap that is already available in the market, shredding it into black mass, and working with partners on hydrometallurgical solutions so we can actually get the recycled material back into the production to build a closed loop. And that, to us, is probably the only way how we can actually address the scarcity of virgin materials, given the ambition of the battery world these days.
The moment of truth. Direct feedback from the jury.
I'm coming from General Motors, and so of course a company where we're highly focused on the energy transition and going into an all-electric future, an area where I think there's really high impact. So for such technologies all around batteries, given the scale, and the company has been able to raise significant capital, building gigafactories, seems to have really nice traction in the market. That was overall highly impressive. The caliber of the team that was described in terms of the background and experiences and their diverse experiences puts the company in a really strong position.
Inobat has a business model which is not new, it is repeatable, and it is workable model already some companies, and it is execution. And taking the start from the approach, I see that execution can be done. Of course, it is belief and delivery of product. It will depend how to, but they have pretty strong management team, which possibly will work. So, since it is also very important to build the right supply chain for them, which is in our modern world is pretty tough. It is where I see some kinds of obstacles.
My last question was about regulations, and I'm really confirming all the success. And the stage confirms the success for itself and the pipeline you mentioned. But still, I'm pretty doubtful about the whole future of this technology, and like Sasha mentioned, the supply chain for it. But still, definitely a much better solution than we have now. So go for it.
We see most of the checks in place. Of course, we all doubt if that will be exactly the future, or there'll be many other ways of energy conservation. But at the end of the day, this is the best we have so far. The impact factor being at its best. The uniqueness of the idea is the thing that, particularly for today's vertical, is not scored very high. It's time to see one anonymous scoring. Thank you so much.
Participant number 2.
Hi, I'm Boyd Cohen from Iomob. Thank you for the invitation.
It's great to have you with us. It's time to give you your superpower avatar suit and to have you downstairs pitching in front of the entire jury.
"60 seconds pitch starting now."
We are building the first decentralized internet of mobility network to seamlessly connect mobility services all around the globe, from private, public, shared mobility, and a move to earn app that leverages that mobility network to gamify green mobility at scale. We're 3 PhD co-founders. We have 7 prior startups, 3 exits, and we're currently 26 full-time employees. At scale, globally, if our technology was deployed around the world and adopted, we could achieve a 2% reduction in global emissions, roughly 1.3 billion tons of emissions avoided annually by helping accelerate the adoption of shared and sustainable mobility. We have a combination of Web 2 and Web 3 business models, so you can call us a Web 2.5, which has sort of licensing fees as well as tokenization and NFTs. On the scalability side, our core business of the mobility network, which is offered to enterprise customers so they can offer door-to-door mobility for their user base. We project to break even next year. And the move to earn app, which is a component of our overall product portfolio, is very high margin and basically profitable from day one.
Ready for Q&A.
How do you handle data privacy with your customers?
There's 2 types of customers we have. We have the enterprise customer for our enterprise mobility platform. And the way we do it is our enterprise customers basically deploy our architecture, which is like a plug and play mobility network inside their own interfaces, web, mobile, kiosk. And in that regard, they actually own the user and their obligations around data privacy. And we actually don't even see end user data. With respect to Wheelcoin, that's very different because it's a highly invasive. It's a move to earn app that asks the users to allow us to track their movements and then reward them for green mobility. And therefore, we are obligated to make sure we adhere to GDPR. There is a data play around that, so I could explain more around that in terms of how we will engage users on that journey as well.
My question will be around your business model and go-to-market strategy, actually. Since you told you will achieve profitability next year, what challenges on the front of you with your current business model and with your, let's say, market strategy? So especially how you communicate with customers as well.
Reiterating the fact that we have 2 products basically that complement each other. There's the enterprise mobility network, and then there's the Wheelcoin move to earn app. The part of our core business that is projected to be break even next year is tied to that mobility network deployment. So we have enterprise customers in Europe and in the US, not many. And that actually gets to my point I was about to make, because you asked about sort of the challenges or barriers to scaling that business are significant. The biggest challenge we have is the slow sales cycle. Our clients are like London Northeastern Rail, which is a public rail operator in the UK. Brightline Trains, privately owned rail operator in US. We're finalists for Amtrak, but more often than not, we're going to market through system integrators. And that's a big way we are avoiding the direct pain of the sales cycle and also the high touch requirements of these very large enterprise. So 2 of our biggest system integration partnerships, Tata Consultancy, the world's largest publicly traded system integrator, and Ubiq Transportation, which is the largest integrator for public transit ticketing and system integration.
How long is your average sales cycle?
Unfortunately, for the enterprise customers, it's usually between 9 to 12 months. And then, of course, with Wheelcoin, it's a very, rapidly scaling. We just deployed it last month, and it has a B2C and a B2B angle, and that actually can scale fast, including the B2B side, which is looking at about a 60 to 90-day sales cycle for that product. Just to quickly explain what that product is I'm referring to for Wheelcoin, it's leveraging the move to Rinat, but for enterprise who want to use it to track Scope 3 emissions for their employees.
My question would be to hear more about your team. With such a complex business model, it's interesting how you manage to build all the departments necessary to achieve your goals.
I have a lot of sustainable entrepreneurship background. I've also written 3 books in the topic, and Iomob is my 6th green startup. My other 2 co-founders he's a scalable computing, basically. So one is a computer science engineer and blockchain engineer, and the other one's an algorithmic engineer. So the blockchain engineer does blockchain and overall CTO strategy. The other co-founder is the day-to-day execution head of software engineering. So on the engineering side, that's kind of covered with as you suggest, we have front-end engineers, we have back-end engineers, we have algorithms engineers that work on that side of the business. We have 2 blockchain engineers, and then we have, of course, a small commercial and operations team, because we're 26 total, and 2/3 of our team are on the engineering side.
What is the business model for the Wheelcoin app?
There's 3 streams of options of revenues for Wheelcoin, and we're starting to validate all of them in some way or another. So Wheelcoin is a Web3 move to earn gaming app. So it has an NFT component, there's a token component. We have those services you see in the middle are services we've already integrated in our platform. Uber, Bolt, Tierboy, all the rest of them. We haven't injected it yet into Wheelcoin, but we do have it for our enterprise product. We will inject it into Wheelcoin and therefore generate commissions on bookings, as well as secure discounts and partnerships with some of these suppliers who want to get exposure to the growing green mobility community that we're building. And then the last one, which I've highlighted a bit, is the Wheelcoin for business side, which has a per employee per month fee, where the employees get onboarded. They don't have to pay anything. They get to use the app and they get gamified to use it. Whereas the company gets the dashboard that allows them to access the aggregated, anonymized emissions from their Scope 3 employee mobility. Surprisingly to us, we started announcing Wheelcoin for Business in early October. Our pipeline of sale opportunity in for Wheelcoin for Business is 3 million right now in the scope of 5 weeks. So it's clearly struck a nerve with companies who find this as a latent need that hasn't been solved yet.
Are you in an open round right now? How much are you looking at raising?
We're raising 6 million. We have several blockchain investors on board, including True Global Ventures, who led our last round. We have Techstars as an early investor, again, other blockchain and impact investors. And we're in active discussions with several co-leads and followers.
The moment of truth. Direct feedback from the jury.
From a team's perspective, strong leadership and experience in building and scaling companies. Because it is a marketplace and going for NFTs, in terms of the business model, it's something that I would have wanted to see more vetting of whether this kind of business model could scale or not. But the uniqueness of the idea, I really liked. It's a novel solution for the mobility space.
I really like the team. The experience speaks for itself. I don't really like these complex models, despite it sounds really nice as an end product, but the execution of both enterprise sales, B2C sales, with all of the mechanics of Web3 and NFT you mentioned, sounds a little bit risky for me to get to the final end of this vision. I like that as the weakest point, but all the rest is pretty fine.
I see a challenge in the business model. I also see challenge with the addressable customer base. This set also further brings questions in regards to the overall timeline for the sales cycle. I think you guys have to do a little bit more convincing work, both on the numbers and the business side, and at the same time in trying to build a little bit less complex model.
Here's the anonymous scoring by one of the investors.
Thank you so much.
Participant number 3.
Hi, I'm Yulia. I'm co-founder of FIXAR.
Hello, Yulia. Welcome to the Founders Games. And you are now with your superhuman avatar suit. And we are all waiting for you downstairs to present your company in front of us.
"60 seconds, pitch starting now."
FIXAR is the Latvian developer of autonomous drones with best-in-class economic efficiency. It's a revenue-generating business with Edison Awards and class-leading performance. The mission of FIXAR is to bring efficiency to the industrial space, reduce CO2 emissions, and reduce risks for people during the search and rescue missions, fire detection, delivery, border control, and others. FIXAR actually stands for Fixed Angle Rotors, the core technology of the company that provides 3 times more efficiency due to the blend of proprietary technologies, software, and unique aerodynamic design. That's why FIXAR is agnostic to any geomagnetic anomalies, and it flies up to 6,000 meters above sea level, what is not acceptable for any other vehicles. Our quarter-over-quarter sales growth is 75%, our margin is 50%. So far, we have sold 90 units on the global market, including the United States, Japan, India, Europe, Israel. Now we are fundraising $6 million round for growth and expansion.
Ready for Q&A.
I think it'd be helpful maybe if we can spend a few minutes to talk a little bit about the business model and also the operations component of how you handle the maintenance and operations of the vehicles.
The business model of FIXAR consists of 3 pillars. The first one covers the direct sales through the dealership network, so that's how we do sales. And we are developers and manufacturers, we are not service providing company. So think about us as like Sony manufacturer, but we're not photographers. So same thing here with FIXAR. The second one is we do subscription model for our software. And the third pillar, and actually our more scalable opportunity, is the license manufacturing. When we sell our license to our partners, they buy all the instructions and everything how to manufacture FIXAR, and then they pay us royalty fee for the software bundle.
I slightly not understand. So you have in your model sells software, you sell software, and at the same time you sell OEM stuff for someone to produce. And how you will compete with the guys who actually, how you compete in the market, since if you give the software to someone who, as I understand, can build their own stuff.
FIXAR comes as the complete solution, so the hardware stuff doesn't work without our proprietary software. And when we speak about the software subscription module, we mean that we add some additional services for our ground control software. And when the clients pay for this, they get access to more opportunities how to reduce their costs while operating the drones. So that increase their efficiency and increase our business model. So when we speak about the license manufacturing, we sell the license to manufacture FIXAR, let's say in India or in the United States, and they pay us royalty fee for the software bundle, since the FIXAR will not fly without our proprietary software. And they pay this for each manufactured unit.
For me, it is like I am like putting the handscarf on my hands when I bought your product, since I need always to be subscribed to you. So by this way, and possibly some updates need to be fixed, some bugs or something. Mm-hmm. So how you divide these two stuff here? So like efficiency, mm-hmm. or you, since I'm a customer, I'm buying your product, and after that I'm thinking I bought, and these guys would like to give me some, let's say, shitty bit of the software, and after this they will improve and get from me money. Mm-hmm. So it is like Boeing will sell airplane, and after this will say, oh, we will send you software for efficiency, but you need to pay for us money for this. drones.
Since FIXAR comes as a complete solution with all the software that is necessarily to operate the drone and to complete all their missions. At the same time, when they wanted to have, let's say, upgraded package, they pay for this upgrades. So all the bugs and all the critical updates that you mentioned, they for sure are included into the basic package of the software.
What's some specific uses or most common uses you have seen so far and you want to see in the future?
FIXAR has layers of advantages. One of these is the swappable payload module. What it means is that when you have one drone, you can easily change the payload module with a sensor and use the same drone for any type of missions. Let's say today with the LiDAR to collect the data of the power lines, tomorrow with the multispectrum cameras for the agriculture, or the day after tomorrow, delivery units to deliver blood, vaccinations, or medications. To simplify, there are only two pillars what drones basically serve is data collection and delivery missions. FIXAR, as the versatile platform, does all of this with only the limitations of now the payload capacity. Now the payload is 2 kilos, and that's the limit. So the next model we have already presented to the market has the 10 kilos payload. That's basically the scalability of our technology. When with almost zero investments, we scaled the flight distance and payload capacity because of the scalability. That's how we've come up from 1.2 kilos to 10 kilos payload, from 40 kilometers to 300 kilometers of flight distance.
You have 55 units sold. These units are produced by you or by some third-party provider?
All our units are made out of composite materials, and we do have contractors. One is in Lithuania, the other one in Australia. They do provide us the composite details, and all the assembly happens in our office in Latvia, where we have all R&D and assembly facility.
If you could elaborate more about the team and the management team. Second of all, if you can talk about your plans for scaling over the next coming 3 to 5 years.
Our founder and actual author of all our inventions, Russev, he's the European champion of the drone fighting drone games. His students now are the current European champions. Some of our team members are in national Latvian team on drone combat and drone fighting games. So they compete internationally. We have great blend of the competencies in aerodynamics, hardware design, software engineers, and business development. Also, our plans is to grow salary, of course, and to deliver the another unit on the market. That would be the cargo BVLOS delivery drone with 300 kilos maximum takeoff weight and with 100 kilos payload. That's what we have in our roadmap.
I want to ask about impact factor here. Of course, I understand myself some of the points, but interesting, how do you see it?
We need to highlight that we are zero CO2 emissions drones, so all our drones use the LiPo batteries instead of fuel engines, what is great, since we do care about the environment. Secondly, the mission of FIXAR is to reduce the harmful impact on the humanity when you work with some really dangerous use cases like search and rescue teams, search and rescue missions, or to deliver some critical products to the remote communities.
What actually distance which you can bring and speed?
The current flagship model covers 60 kilometers on one battery charge. The next one covers up to 300 kilometers on one battery charge, and that's how it works. And on top of that, the critical thing in aviation products is ratio between maximum payload capacity and maximum takeoff weight. So the acceptable ratio for the big aviation is around 0.3. So our drones, FIXAR 77 and FIXAR 025, we're close to this ratio, what is really great, and that shows the all efficiency for the end customers.
And the speed?
Yeah, so FIXAR 007 speed is 72 kilometers per hour. They all contribute to the efficiency that I mentioned in the very beginning. So we bring the up to 30% less costs per mission than all the competitors, and brings up to 3 more efficiency to the total use of the drones to our end customers. One of the recent cases our clients did that was in Himalayas when they flew at 6,000 meters above sea level. It's unacceptable altitude for any helicopters and planes to work at that rarefied atmospheres and totally geomagnetic anomalies. And among 12 platforms that were competing during this mission, only FIXAR was capable to take off autonomously, complete the mission autonomously, and land with completing all the surveillance mission.
What kind of infrastructure do you need to take off and take off and land?
Nothing. No catapult, no runway, no capture device to land, no parachuting system to land. To just take this case, open it. It takes less than 2 minutes to set it up and send it for the mission. What is crucial when we speak about the search and rescue missions, fire detection, etc., when every second matters.
Yeah, but when you return the drone, you need to have some infrastructure, I'm sorry. So it just needs to be led somewhere, you need to do something with it, and you need to take care about how you sort, how you take care, so some repayment or something, I don't know. But actually the infrastructure needs to be. So
for sure. If we speak about the changing the battery, when it's not the nest, where you can change the battery automatically and autonomously, we need some help to change the batteries now. When there is the nest, we're totally compatible to any type of nests or UTM systems.
The moment of truth. Direct feedback from the jury.
A company that has very deep technology and really addressing pain points in the market for the defense and logistics space. That's a scalable solution and seemed to have a really nice development from a product roadmap perspective. A strong team that has relevant and prior experience that could help to scale this company.
It's a pretty crowded space as well. I think it's pretty hard to build distinctive brand in this really interesting space, but still, like, your confidence and your progress so far with so little capital deployed provides lots of hope for the future.
Extremely interesting, but I would say approach which is not much different than anyone else. Obviously, we have a great stellar team. Obviously, we have some great technology here, and it will be a question of market fit and market realization and validation on the way to prove that your approach is the best approach. All major participants in the market, they are all working and trying to identify who will be the winner. They sign MOUs with everyone, and everyone says they will make it. So I keep my fingers crossed, of course, that those will be you. Obviously, your results look quite fascinating, and I keep my fingers crossed that you will be the winners.
Here's the anonymous scoring by one of the investors.
Thank you.
Participant number 4.
And it's time to see our fourth and last contestant here in today's third round of the Founders Games on mobility.
Hello to everyone. I'm Raffaele from Ubiq.
Hello, Raf. It is about time to get your superpowers, and we are waiting for you to pitch in front of us.
Yeah, I'm coming.
"60 seconds, pitch starting now."
So Ubiq is making sustainable mobility and energy profitable. What's the problem that we are addressing? Electrification and shared asset are threatening the profitability of sustainable mobility. A future depends on changing that. Our technology uses artificial intelligence as well as millions of data points to predict mobility demands and recommends opportunity to optimize shared fleet supply. With Street Crowd, our crowd-based operation execution service that supports fleet operators in taking advantage of or recommended opportunities in real time. Ubiq actually is increasing mobility providers' revenue by 20-50%. We are an international and diverse team of 23 people. We are a B2B model. We scaled in the last 24 months, serving 12 fleet across Europe and South America. We are not just growing, but we are scaling quite well. Thank you.
Ready for Q&A.
Your strategy to grow, you spread too far, or it is your team spread. I a little bit not understand. So, or your customer spread was evolved as well.
Well, yeah, in terms of scaling, we scale through our clients, existing clients and new clients, launching new cities or adding new line of business. Yeah, we have 4 lines, 3 in production and 1 in the projection. 1 is a rebalancing API, the second one is predictive charging, and 3 is battery swapping. So usually we start with 1 of the 3 lines and then grow up internally in terms of increasing the number of transactions that we execute for our clients, and which means or spreading our capacity in terms of the product services, or also in terms of the fleet that we are serving. Now we are serving almost 10,000 vehicles, and we project in 2 years to reach 50,000.
Where your today location where you provide your service? How, like, geographical?
We are across Europe, and we have also an operation with a car sharing provider in South America. We can absolutely work in terms of the operation through our crowd-based communities across the world, so worldwide. But now we are currently active in across Europe and South America. In terms of the future, we intend to address especially the Japanese market, because in terms of the shared mobility is really a biggest market, doubling the numbers of the Europe market. So we see a lot of opportunity there.
And what's the customer acquisition cost you have right now?
It's usually very low. We are talking just between 15-20K per clients, with an average size of business of 200 or 200K.
So with this number of fleet you are now managing, and with some brand names, pretty big ones I have seen on your site, what is your share in their total fleet, and how do you see it developing? As I understand, it's only some kind of pilots right now, or?
No, we are in production. So we are serving 12 fleets with 10,000 vehicles. So we are in production with 5 clients.
What's the total number of vehicles in the fleets of your 5 customers? And how big is the
we are serving almost the 50%. So we have space to reach the 100%. So our current existing customer, we can doubling our business. So we are a lot of opportunities in terms of not just upsell but also cross-sell.
Have you seen any churn in clients, fleet, and if yes, what were they?
Yes, just one in the US, because during the pilot the company failed. So we stopped the pilot. And in other case, not just, we have a net retention MRR of 157. So we not just retent, but we have the opportunity to or spread out the product services or launches new cities with the providers.
I would like to better understand the type of customers you're targeting. Is it the micro mobility? Is it you're talking about fleets? Can you please give us this type of idea?
Absolutely. At the moment, car sharing providers, 99%. But in the terms of the next 2 years, we are projecting also to move in terms of go-to-market to the micro mobilities. But at the moment, we are targeting car sharing providers.
Can you talk about the key differentiators of your solution vis-a-vis competitors? I mean, I think it's a very crowded space.
Yeah, absolutely. We have two type of competition. One is in terms of, let me say, the insight or data intelligence for the optimization of the fleet. From another side, the executional providers. We match, in terms of differentiation, we match the data intelligence with the execution, giving to our final clients an end-to-end service. So keeping the intelligence, but without having impact in terms of operation execution for the final clients. So that's why we are unique in terms of the competition or compared to the competition.
As I understand, selling to the clients, you face competition directly through tenders or during the decision process. So how big is it usually? Are there many companies competing for your client at the same time? And what's your winning rate of those clients?
The main competitors now we have in the market is Zoba, which is from the US market, but slow, quite active also in Europe, which is more focused on the intelligence side. In terms of the acquisition, so which means that we have not a large amount of competitor when we show our services to the clients. So our current rate is very high. We are a B2B, so which means from acquisition plus pilot integration API, we are talking about 6 months, 3-6 months before the production. But apart from the usual normal timeline from the B2B model, the acquisition is very high. So for us, especially if you see the customer acquisitions versus the lifetime value, where we are under payment and underestimating the cost of sales, we need to fuel the sales side because we have pipeline. We have a lot of opportunities for battery swapping, for charge infrastructure optimization, but of course we need to fuel the 7 million in order to accelerate the business.
I guess everyone would love to hear more about the team as we have to evaluate it.
We are 23 people based in Vienna, Austria, and across Europe and US. Leadership team is very diverse in international. I come from Italy. The CTO and the CEO are Austrian. The marketing and from the US and the HR from Slovakia. Very, very strong knowledge of the market, especially in terms of tech side and founding side, so mobility, shared mobility in general. I come from previous scaling up in Italy across Europe. I already closed other Series A. We have two main, let me say, cluster in terms of team. One in data science and engineering, and from another side, the operation, which means delivery. So covering the community side and delivery of the services for our existing customer.
Does exist some lead investor? Lead investor?
Yes. We have already lead investor.
What are the biggest challenges that you're addressing at the moment?
Well, this is a general market uncertainty that sometimes is not meaning stopping the growing, because we are growing very well, but reducing the velocity sometimes in terms of the growing. So if we see that some sort of consolidation in car sharing mobility that we'll see next in the future month, will help us also in terms of establish better the grow up in terms of the velocity.
The moment of truth. Direct feedback from the jury.
I think it's been very impressive that the company has been able to get really nice unit economics for Ubiq thus far. I think, as I mentioned from comments, it is a competitive landscape, and I wonder whether the car sharing operators, would be looking to build such solutions themselves. So I think from differentiation perspective, that's still an area that is less clear to me. But I think from a team's perspective, strong team, highly capable team.
Yeah, I will do some like combination. I slightly did not find any of three of them the business model which is proof enough to get all very competitive environments. So it is like combination, what uniqueness of business model to win. For me, it is a question for three rest of the companies, and I will suggest to spend more time on it to deliver this message better and to show competition and to show uniqueness of business model, since it is not, I don't see something like very, very special done by all of them.
Probably my favorite here is that it's purely software driven, and I think it's much easier, of course, to execute the software driven model. Of course, it would be the hardest part probably would be to win competition from some of people mentioned from inside development of your clients of the same products, or from other players coming in already present on the market. And at this stage, it's really hard to understand whether you will win it. But so far, so good, and keep going. If your numbers will keep being so nice like this, I guess this will be a very nice company in the future.
I would refer here to what Max mentioned, clear, straightforward. But again, I think that because it's software, but I think that you will have to put some more work also on the business model here. And then the rest of what you've heard, I'm quite confident with it.
Here's the anonymous scoring by one of the investors.
Thank you. It's been an exciting mobility track so far, but the most exciting part is just to come. So saying that, you have your scores now to be listed. Inobat, 44, average score. Iomob, 40. FIXAR, 39. Ubiq, 37. Congratulations, Inobat. You're the winners.
So we have our mobility and urban tech winner. Congratulations. Make sure to catch all verticals to find out who the semi-finalists will be.